People ask me how you can speak so fluently Arabic language, and even though you have just learned, you have lived in 5 years in Saudi Arabia. So I tell them again and again, guess what? Today I'm just going to tell you how I learned my Arabic language throughout these 5 years, and just like a native speaker, I can understand what they talk about and how I can implement them with my sentence. Like, how can I speak like them? Okay, so I'm just gonna share some very interesting facts about how I experience the language throughout my viewpoint and in the duration of the 5 years. I'm just gonna start from the first, which is the basic fundamental history of mine. Okay, so in 2016 I moved from India to Saudi Arabia on August. So it was the month which is a little bit heat, like a summer season. When I just moved to Saudi Arabia, and first time I just got my leg up, get my leg out from the plane, then I felt a very heaty, balloons. It's just throwing, just making a slap on my cheeks, and I just put back, I just got my leg back into the plane, and then I thought, oh, this very heaty region, I can't survive here. But when I just found out that I must go because it's in my contract, and I've just made a contract with 2 years like that, so I came here to Saudi Arabia for earning and working like that. So I just forget about everything and started working. Okay, when I started working in Saudi Arabia, I was transferred from the capital Riyadh to a very village area, a rural area, which is located here in Al-Hassa, Al-Mubarak. So I started working in one of the mall and started to experience the people. Just got stunned when I just went in the public and started speaking English, because it's the rural areas and hardly you can find speaking English people, some who only knows ABC, that's all. So I started speaking English. They just made a big reaction against me, and I stopped my English at the time, because I didn't want to have been beaten up and by someone else who is just here, because I was a beginner and I was afraid of a lot of things. I didn't have experienced people. I didn't have experienced a lot of things that are really deep rooted in the culture of this country. So I was afraid of all the things. Then I started to learn Arabic since then. So it was the year 2016 and mid of the 16, you can say the late 16, in December around. So I started in the new year 2017. I started learning Arabic. First thing that I got very hard to learn is just understanding their sentences and how they speak. There is a great varieties in Arabic, and there is a lot of dialect is found in Arabic. So I can say that if one of you is just struggling to learn the Arabic, then you must have decided that which is you must decide that which dialect is you are just going to learn, or which Arabic you are just going to learn, because the Arabic starts from the standard Arabic and outdated Arabic like Quran, and it starts from there and then comes to standard Arabic, and then just make varieties in dialects. So you must choose one of the dialects out of the Arabic dialects, and you can find it by very simply, and just Google it and start finding out which dialects you just want to learn, how many dialects are found in Arabic. The same thing that I just did when I started learning Arabic in 2017. I just dived into the Arabic world. I started to just explore the internet about Arabic speaking dialects and like that. So starting Saudi dialects, Egyptian dialects, Syrian dialects, Palestinian dialects, like that. So at the end of the day, I just adopted the Saudi dialect because I was working in Saudi Arabia. And but in Saudi dialect, there's a great varieties. You can find a different varieties, like in according to the region. If you are just working in in Jeddah or Riyadh, you will find a different dialect. In Hassa, it's just a different dialects. So in them, but almost all the dialects is just related or interrelated to the Arabic, Saudi Arabic dialect. So I started to confused about that, and I made a big struggle about how I learned Arabic language. The second one thing I just did, which was very helpful for me, and I kept on taking help from that, is just finding an ebook from internet. The first thing that I just dived into was internet, because there was no other things I could say was helpful for me. No other friends, nothing. If I would speak something, they would say, oh, you are just twisting the words, and this doesn't mean this doesn't mean this, and that just humiliate me. Then I just made a very simple way and lonely way, is just having internet. And then I started exploring the things. I found ebook, started learning that, and completed in 3 months. And just started revising it, because the revising is much more important, because a lot of portion of your book you can't understand without having to revise it. Okay, so first of all, you need to make sure that you are just learning the first round of the book. Is just you are learning the basic things. Whatever you just understand or don't understand, just leave it. You don't have to stop at the moment when you're just mistaken, or you're not understanding some points about the book and something like that. I just do this exercise every time whenever I just get the book or any other books except from the languages. So I leave them at the point of the time, and then just mark that. And again, when I just revise the book, I try to understand the main portion that I left in the past. So like this, I revised 2 times my book, and starting having a great knowledge about the sentences and words of Arabic language, especially Saudi dialect. When I started Arabic lessons from the book, along with I started speaking out in public, speaking out with friends, speaking out with myself too, because it's a great way. I've already told you in my past videos that it's a great way to speak with yourself and with in the mirror. It's you in the mirror. So it can have great help, but you need to make sure that you are doing the correct job. You need to have you have to practice these right sentence, right words into the mirror or with yourself. Because if you're just addicted, or if you're in habit of speaking the wrong sentences, the wrong words in the particular time, then you won't be improved. Nothing you can improve in your language without having the correct sentences. Okay. So I highly recommend that you have to experience these type of all the things. And if you are just speaking, because I did through the course of 5 years, and I could speak very well after the 2 years, but I can now speak like a native speaker, but not so fluent. Fluency is still as the lack of my knowledge, but I can speak, I can understand, I can do a lot of things in speaking in Arabic, the dialect, in Saudi dialect. Noting something is just a great way to just improve something if you're learning, especially when you're learning. So if you have I'm sure that you all have mobile phones, so why don't you just download the notepad and start using this? Because if you find it interesting, just start noting. And if you want to just experience or repeat, or you just want to just you can say revise, then why don't you just use the notepad for revising something? Start speaking sentences and writing them down in the notepad. I would do the same things. I had a notepad which I downloaded from the App Store, and start using this, and I would just write down a lot of things, and then again and again I just try to translate them from notepad. I would copy, and then went to the Google and Google from English to Arabic or Arabic to English, and just translate and see if the sentence is correct or words is correct or not. Like this, I just improved my Arabic, and I can say that it is a great help for you if you're just wanna learn something in Arabic. Teaching, I love teaching, and everybody loves if he's just interested in learning, because the teaching is the great way to help yourself, the enhancing the knowledge of your own mind. So why don't you just take the teaching class of the juniors? Or if you don't find this, then you just come across if you come across the people who are just learning and want just to ask, then why don't you teach them? You say that I will teach you every day 5 minutes, 10 minutes by by phone, by anything, and then you'll learn how this This just happens like that. So teaching is the great way, and I would highly recommend everybody who is just want to learn speedily. I just make it more passionable area when I just find something very hard, and I just do the teaching at the moment. I start teaching and start learning, start teaching, start learning. I mean, along with the two of the things can be done very simply, and it has a great enhancing power for your knowledge. Okay, so why don't you start teaching your juniors, your colleagues, and whoever just want to learn the same things. Okay, just find out in your internet if somebody is just struggling to teach, or sorry, is struggling to learn, and then you start to teach them, you coach them. It's a great way to understand this language, and also have a knowledge, increase your knowledge day by day. Last but not least, I would highly recommend everybody, even though on the face of the earth, everybody listening, because the listening process is very, very important, and everybody should do it. Without having experienced this type of portion of your learning, then you can't evaluate yourself, who you are, or what you are just learning. Like the speaking, like when you just find somebody speaking in English, or speaking in Arabic, or speaking in different language, you try to just copy the sentence. You just try to know, you know that he is speaking like this, it means this language is just like this. I know the Arab people, I know my colleague who are just working with me, they are Arabs, and so they are native. They know when I speak in Hindi, they know I'm speaking in Hindi. When somebody is speaking in Bengali, I mean the language of Bangladesh, then he knows that how is he speaking and what is the language of that. Even though both are a little bit strange to him, he doesn't know the both of the language. He can't speak. He can't speak fluently or anything. He can't understand it. But even though, despite of this, he differs the language, that you are speaking in Hindi, you are speaking in Bengali, he is speaking in English. I know which language you are speaking in. Okay, so he can understand. Why? Because he has experienced the listening process, at least not so much long, but he has experienced the listening process for a short period of time, so that he can understand how the particular language is spoken. Okay, so I would highly recommend the listening, because when we talk about the learning process, when we talk about the speaking, it always comes after the listening. Okay, so first start listening as much as you can do, even 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day, as much as you can find your time valuable. You just make sure you are listening something. Okay, if your audiobook, if you're listening the video, audio songs and like other things, then you have a great opportunity, you have a great chance to just speak very well. So listening is must. I would recommend it, and as I mentioned, all the points I've shared with you, and keep updating your knowledge. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, have a nice time, and see you next time with my another video. So until then, bye bye.